This is part 2 of 2,
Okay,
extreme profile drawing.
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Now that we've got kind of the basic shape of the head, we just have some finishing details. We need to figure out where the ear is going to go. Basically, if you find the center point of all of this shape, we go from the front to the back, okay, find kind of a middle point, and then we go from top to bottom and find a middle point. Our ear is going to be kind of in this section, behind this middle part, behind this cross. And we can see that because when you look at somebody and you look at their eye, it's pretty much level with where the top of their ear is. And the bottom of their ear is going to be somewhere, if you go straight forward, in between the nose and the mouth. So top of ear is going to be right by the eye, bottom of ear is going to be close to the nose, right here, okay? And when we draw ears, a lot of people will draw them straight, like this, but they're actually slanted just slightly. So when I look at Connor's ear, the top part is larger, and it comes down to the earlobe, and it's a little smaller on the bottom. And people get freaked out by the contour inside the ear. Oh my gosh, how do we draw an ear? They're so hard. It's not too difficult. Start with the line that you see that kind of comes around the outside. And then we notice there's some space down here for the earlobe. Okay. Another part of the ear that we can draw is this little triangle piece that comes out. That's called the tragus, and I learned that in high school because it was very cool to get your tragus pierced.
And it really, really hurts.
It does, that's what I've heard. I never did it.
I've tried and it didn't really work out for me.
Okay, I look at the contour lines of the ear and see what I can get in there.
That was an extreme tragus view right there.
Okay, so we've got kind of the simple contour of the ear. Then we're just going to check out hairline. His hairline is kind of close to the ear, comes down, and we can just kind of sketch it in. And then what happens to it under the ear? Well, it starts right here and goes kind of downwards to the back of the head. So we've got close to the ear, slightly down, and we know that our head needs to come in a little bit here at the neck. Now at this point, a lot of people stop looking at their model and they go, okay, I'm done. Well, unless you want your person to look like they are a head on a stick, you need to pay a little bit of attention to what happens. At the base of the neck, generally, especially when people are sitting down, their back of the neck comes out a little bit. Angle of neck comes in a little bit here. And then we have the shirt, okay? I can see the angle of his shirt, and this line is simply kind of a diagonal line, and then it goes out even further towards the back, and it comes around a little bit, and the chest comes out a little bit in front. So we need to make sure that we give him not a stick for a body. A lot of times then people will say, okay, well, I've got the shirt done. Well, what happens if you are drawing somebody with really long hair? A lot of times you can see that hair, you know, on the other side. Maybe it kind of comes down like this. Oh, Connor, now you have a nice long view. Sometimes you can see more of the shoulder coming out depending on what the angle is of their body. When it comes to shoulders, people just go, oh, okay, shoulder, boop. No. If I look at his t-shirt, he has this line of his t-shirt, and that's a straight line, pretty much. And it comes down from his collar and down towards the bottom of the page. And at this point, this little part where your shirt actually starts, that's not until like way down here. So his shoulder actually doesn't start until down at the bottom. Most of you won't have much of a shoulder in your picture at all. When you draw these, when you are drawing each other, I want you to think about using your space. When we're done with these, they're going to be very colorful and they're going to be very large on the paper. If the face becomes so big that the back of the head needs to come off the page to make it proportional, then do that. Don't cut off the top and back of the head because you want the whole thing to fit on the paper. It's better that you draw it big enough so that, you know, it goes off and is proportional. We're going to get into using interesting line and color later on. This is just kind of the basics. How do you get started? So when you guys break up into groups today, you're going to break up into groups of 2. If we have an odd number, you'll get into a group of 3 at the end, and one person will be the model and the other people will be drawing. When you're drawing your model's going to focus on something. So Connor's probably been focusing on something in the back of the room, so in case he moves, he can look back at that thing that he was looking at. And when I draw him, I'm going to draw him and then look. I'm going to look and draw like this, and I'm going to sit nice and close to him, not 2 tables apart. We're going to spread these tables apart so you can be nice and close. And obviously, if Connor's facing left, his nose is pointing left. In the picture, his nose will be pointing left. If you want to draw him the other way, if you want to draw him so his nose is pointing right, he has to sit the other way. I've seen sometimes people try to draw them backwards. I don't get that. Just look and draw. It's like tracing in the air. Use the right side of your brain. All right, let's get into groups. We're going to use this nice high quality watercolor paper that is up here in the box. Grab yourself some paper, get a partner, and we'll get all set up.